and I give the floor to the acting spokesman of the General Staff of Ukraine, Vladyslav Seleznyov, and also a spokesman for anti-terrorist operation, Leonid Matyukhin, will be on Skype. Regrettably, because of the events in the east of Ukraine, I cannot say good morning still. As of now, the battle around the Donetsk airport continues, and part of the buildings there is defended by our fighters. Because of the constant shelling, almost the new terminal has been ruined almost entirely. Because this building was ruined to the scratch, the decision was taken to withdraw Ukrainian fighters from this building to new lines. Yesterday, 16 Ukrainian military who were concussed as a result of the battle for this strategic object were taken captive by the gunmen of the so-called DNR. At the moment, the talks to free them continue. As of now, we know about the death of 6 defenders of the Donetsk airport. On the 20th of January, the 4th wave of mobilization started, and at the moment, we're talking to the population to explain problematic issues to them. Also, according to the order of the Chief of General Staff, the commander of Armed Forces of Ukraine, we continue briefings with the representatives of media, and every representative of media can go to the inquire at the military commissariat for explanation and get latest information about the state of mobilization in a particular settled, populated center. At the moment, the first stage of mobilization is going on, which is information and handing out the summons, and the military are in close cooperation with representatives of the bodies of local power. In Kharkiv region, in every military district commissariat, there's a record number of men and women who came to collect their summons or to volunteer. The first Deputy Minister of Defense of Ukraine, Ivan Rusnak, took part in Kyiv in an international meeting of top officials on the issue of averting corruption. The officials of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the ambassador of UK, Simon Smith, representatives of Transparency International, and other experienced experts took part in the meeting. They were from Great Britain, Poland, and Bulgaria. Over the last year, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has intensified the cooperation with the Transparency International and took an active part in the realization of the NATO in Building Integrity initiative. A lot of recommendations is already implemented with the support of the Ministry of Defense of UK and Building Integrity NATO initiative and Transparency International at the National University of Defense of Ukraine. The Scientific Center on averting and counteracting corruption has started to work. At the moment, we prepare regular courses for personnel who are sent to take part in the anti-terrorist operation and in peacemaking and peacekeeping operations. Over the recent years, almost 60 internal auditors were trained in the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, and an anti-corruption analysis of the most risky kinds of activity was introduced. In the first turn, in the spheres of purchases and sale of not needed property, utilization of ammunition, and so on. The economic effect for the Ministry of Defense and Armed Forces due to the training of internal auditors according to international standards has already exceeded 2 million hryvnia over 2 years. During the preparation of the anti-corruption program, the best international practice and experience will be taken into account. Today, at the central building of the officers of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the Interdepartmental Working Group on the complex review of the security and defense sector of Ukraine will take place, and these events are taking place within the framework of agreements about the involvement of the joint working group Ukraine-NATO on the issues of military reform, and the officials of the Ministry of Defense and the Armed Forces of Ukraine will take part, as well as managers of the respective structural units of the Ministry of Defense and General Staff, representatives of the Council of National Defense and Security apparatus, the Secretariat of the Cabinet of Ministers, central bodies of executive power and law enforcement bodies of Ukraine, the state concerned Ukroboronprom, as well as the delegation of experts of NATO, headed by the chief of the Department for Planning of the Department for Defense Policy and Planning of the International Secretariat of NATO, Frank Boland. Also today at the National University of Defense in Ukraine, the opening of the courses for fighters, rescuers will take part, and Olga Bohumolets will take part, head of the Committee of the Supreme Council of Ukraine on Public Health, also the director of the humanitarian initiatives of the World Congress of Ukrainians, Uliana Suprun, and officials of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. Tomorrow at the Goncharivka testing grounds in Chernihiv region, the testing of armaments and military machinery that are being developed by the enterprises of the Ukrainian industrial and military complex will take place. There will be a light armored vehicle with an automated block of armaments cyborg, a grenade launcher with high power ammunition, infantry flamethrower, and other new developments, including the diverse development for fighter swimmers. We invite the representatives of mass media for this exhibition and testing of the new armaments. Accreditation is necessary. The announcement of the event will soon be on the official web portal of the Ministry of Defense. From Rivne region to the zone of the anti-terrorist operation in the east of Ukraine, the point of warming was sent, which was re-equipped with the use of with the help of one of the railway enterprises of Ukraine. Enterprises in Rivne region, at their own expense, have re-equipped 6 containers. Each of them can house 20 fighters. There are beds, hand washer, a stove, a clock and everything needed. And now I give the floor to Leonid Matyukhin, who is the acting spokesman for the anti-terrorist operation. Do you hear us well? Yes. So, what's the information about the general state of events and what's happening in the anti-terrorist operation zone? Thank you. Well, in general, since 6 p.m. last day, the situation remains complicated, and we can say that in the evening there were approximately twice as few shellings as later, and the illegal armed formations have shelled the Ukrainian positions from multiple rocket launchers and next to settlements Nizhny, Novotoshkivske, Karlivka, Avdiivka, Mykolaiivka, Troitske, Maloorlivka, Zaychevo, and twice next to Krymske. Overnight, 4 times they have shelled and fired at our Ukrainian positions in Stanitsa Luhanska, Shastya, Mariivka, and Troitska, and also Novotoshkivsk, Krakovka. After the activization in the daytime in the vicinity of Mariupol, after 5 p.m., the gunmen have not fired, and the biggest tension is still in the vicinity of Donetsk airport and road checkpoints 29 and 31. Could you be more precise about Donetsk airport? Which objects are still controlled by the Ukrainian military? I understand that we are no longer in the new terminal. Yes, Ukrainian cyborgs are still at some objects and places in Donetsk airport. The tarmac was ruined altogether, and certain means and forces were involved in order to hold the airport under control, and some objects as well. How many of our guys died under the debris? At the moment, we know about the death of 6 of Ukrainian cyborgs, but because there's active combat going on on the territory of airport, it is hard to be precise. But of course, we are now trying to free the Ukrainian military who were taken captive by the gunmen of the so-called DNR, and at the moment we are also waging battle for the airport. So the figures 35 or 27 you do not confirm. At the moment we know about 6 Ukrainian cyborgs who died. So at the moment the toughest situation is in Donetsk airport and in the vicinity of the 29th, 31st road checkpoints. Yes, as of now, we cannot tell you, we can't be precise, because this was in the morning and an hour passed since then. Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. Talk to you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Vladyslav, thank you for the information. And the new information, we still have some question from 1+1. There's an information that something like 800 gunmen came to Inakivo, and also they are in Horlivka. We have to take into account what was said by the Ukrainian superior commander-in-chief yesterday. Almost 9,000 Russian military are on the territory temporarily controlled by the government, and it is natural that they concentrate their forces where there's a biggest tension. First Donetsk, then Bakhmutka highway, and then Gorlivka and Debaltseve. Thank you. We'll get more information from Colonel Lysenko at 12:30 about what's happening in the